It's time for the Rose Chat Podcast, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the world's most beloved flower, the rose. Join award-winning gardeners Chris VanCleave and Teresa Byington as they chat with rose lovers and experts from around the globe. With each episode, you'll gain valuable knowledge and insights to achieve the rose garden you've always dreamed of. Listen now as we explore the world of roses.
Hey friends, today I have a treat for you. Susan Lyell Young is with me today. Now, Susan's been a gardener for over 30 years, specializing in antique and heirloom roses. However, it doesn't stop there. She has started not one, but two companies that showcase roses, cutting flowers, and gorgeous bulbs. Hey, Susan, welcome back to Rose Chat.
Hello, Miss Teresa. How are you today?
I am wonderful, and it's so nice to chat with you.
Same.
Same. And it's been a while. You know, our friendship began when you were on Rose Chat several years ago, and you told a story that it's one of my favorites. I've never forgotten it, on how you started your love affair with roses. So I want you to share a bit of that story with our listeners today.
Absolutely. You know, I've been a gardener for a long, long time, and I've grown perennials, annuals, just about everything, and had never, ever tried roses. One day while in Kmart looking for something, I saw one of those bagged up, waxed plastic roses that said Mr. Lincoln. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a try. And it was pitiful. I didn't really know what to look for in a rose at that time, and it was not expensive. So I took it home and cut back all the dead branches and actually tried to remove the wax and planted it, and it grew. And it bloomed, and it smelled wonderfully.
Yes.
And that color, rich red rose. And that was kind of, as they say, the gateway to roses. It rippled like a stone in the pond, and there was no stopping me from then on.
You know, you're not alone. I know many of our listeners can identify. Roses are very easy to fall in love with. And I want to also say that your bagged rose, that was quite a while ago. And I can tell you that bagged roses are looking great today. I've bought several, and they're great.
They've probably come a long way, and we don't have Kmart anymore.
No.
I know that Costco has them, and I've seen photos of them, and they do look really healthy and leafed out.
Yeah, I got some great ones, and they have done very, very well. So, yep, it's hard to only have a few, and you didn't stop with just one or two. Tell us a little bit about your original garden.
Well, I guess from Mr. Lincoln, somehow I found my way to vintage, antique, and found roses. And that really became my all-encompassing desire to grow some of those that have been grown so long ago, to grow the found roses, to try to keep them in circulation and identify them. I just realized there was a whole universe out there of people who collect and trade and talk and grow really old roses, a lot of which are no longer in commerce.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me was like a treasure hunt. It inspired travel. I've been out to California, New Orleans, Texas, collecting roses and propagating them, and then getting them back into the hands of people who maybe have a rose auction, the Heritage Rose Foundation, so that we don't lose them. Have you ever been down to the Armstrong Rose Garden down in New Orleans?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
Yes.
one of my favorites.
Oh, it is. It is truly spectacular. Just a very special place. I had the pleasure of going there with Miss Peggy Martin, so it was a
Oh,
great.
well, of course. And
Of
that's how
course.
I met Peggy. I went to a Heritage Rose meeting down there in New Orleans, and Peggy came and spoke to us, and we actually got to see her garden.
Yes.
And she is one of the kindest people. Most rose people are really, really kind,
Hmm.
and she is no exception.
She's special. She's very, very special. She hosted me, and we just, we're just an immediate connection. For those of us who to love the roses the way that we do, and the heritage roses, it's just a special connection. So that was a special time.
Yeah, the
Now
rose world is really a small world.
it is, and it's a special group. Now, there is a video out there. I know that you moved in 2020 to a new location, but your original garden is saved for posterity because the Volunteer Gardener Show came to visit, right?
They sure did, and I still do have my original garden. I
Oh, you do?
sold my farm right before COVID.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that garden that you see on Volunteer Gardener, it is kind of an archive because the garden has changed a lot. But that was a thrill to have the Volunteer Gardener
Yeah.
out here. I've always been a fan of that show, and they didn't give me a whole lot of notice. I was running around like crazy, but the garden at that time of year is so glorious
Yeah.
that I was just so glad they were able to capture it then.
Oh, it was beautiful. Friends, you can see that too. Just go to YouTube, Volunteer Gardener, and search out Restoration Rose. I checked and it still pops right up.
Yep, yep.
And you get to see Susan talking about these things that she loves. So, Susan, how many roses do you have now?
Teresa, I'm going to say around 65.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some are in the ground, some are in pots, some are at friends' houses in pots. Um, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I had a really bad spell with RRD
Oh,
a
I've
few
heard
years ago.
Tennessee has had some of that.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's no joke. Um, I guess this was, yeah, pre COVID. So, when you think about pre COVID, things that maybe were heartbreaking aren't so much now.
hmm.
And so at the time, it broke my heart because for me, it would take maybe 3 to 4 years to get a little tiny band plant up to speed. And then that would be about the time that I would discover the RRD.
Hmm.
And it really did a number on a lot of rare roses that I had collected or friends had sent that I treasured. It was a major loss. But, I've just learned to live with that. I feel like I got most of it out of here. I don't see symptoms anymore. I have become a little paranoid.
Yeah.
Um, RRD is all over our parking lot, shopping mall,
Mm.
knockouts. It's everywhere. So
Mhm.
I think I've dodged it for now, but I'm always on the lookout.
Oh, and you should be. Where I am located is in the Midwest, and we have not had what you've had in Tennessee for sure, but occasionally, and it's always so odd to me that all of a sudden someone has, I had New Dawn that I'd had for years, and had to remove that big, beautiful, New Dawn is so pretty, and but nothing else, has shown symptoms, and that was, several years ago. So I don't know. It's just it picks and chooses, I suppose, where those little mites are going to land, but
Yeah.
it can be so devastating. And That reminds me that a few weeks ago, my friend Dee was on the podcast and she talked
Hmm.
about downsizing her garden. And she has a very large,
Yes.
beautiful garden. And she talked about downsizing. And she talked about why she was doing that. And, it was more for, health reasons, getting older, that sort of thing. And you've had to do that because of RRD. But one of the things that came out in our conversation that I loved is that once you get through the initial problem or decision, you have a renewed energy and you can have a new creativity. Now, in the fear of RRD, maybe that has been stymied a bit, but we're very resilient as gardeners. And, we work around and we find a way. And once you get through the initial, then, you deal with what you have and you make that beautiful and special. So I'm sure that you have done that. Now,
Yes, I have. Yes, I
you
have. You're absolutely right.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Now, you've grown a lot of plants as we just discussed through the years, but I'm curious, what emerged as your favorites, whether it's a rose or cut flowers or those kinds of things?
Well, Teresa, that's kind of like asking who's your favorite child.
Exactly. It is. I
You
know, but,
know?
inquiring minds want to know.
Well, and I kind of had a feeling that you might ask me this, so I've been like pondering on it at night when I can't sleep. Because honestly, I love them all. I really do. And talking about downsizing and things, I've become the kind of person where if a rose doesn't perform after several years, it goes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, I have edited down to what is really great. And for me, Duchess de Brabant,
Mm.
the old rose and pearl d'or,
Oh,
those are
yeah.
my superstars this summer. In roses, I have multiples of those.
Yes.
David Austin, Teasing Georgia,
Mm.
has been a superstar.
Oh, that's great.
Other things that I grow that I love. I mean, you're a gardener like me. You like to mix everything in, and your garden
Mhm.
is exuberant and bountiful. And I always try to have choices for um, early spring, late spring, and summer, and then fall. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
so I really love foxglove in the
Yes.
spring with roses.
Oh, it complements them so well.
Yes, because the roses are round and blobby. And so when you get those kind of sharp accent points of the
Mhm.
foxglove,
Yeah.
um, I love bearded iris
Yes.
with the roses, in the early spring.
Well, you
And
have to because you live in Tennessee.
then, yes, you're right. You mean the state flower?
Yes.
Can you grow them there? I mean, they're
Yes.
hard.
Oh, yes. I
Okay,
absolutely love them. I love them.
okay, okay. And, I love all the flowering shrubs. In the spring, the cherry trees.
Hmm.
When summer comes along, I, um, or late spring, I guess, I love my tulips. I have lots and lots of tulips, daffodils, hyacinth. They're so easy to do. And then as we kind of get into the summer, I do a lot of columbine, bee balm, herbs. Oh my gosh, herbs are just, they're the best thing I've seen for pollinators. And they're fragrant. You can use them as filler in the vase. Um, I love them. And then, of course, the dahlias. Some years I grow them, some years I don't.
Hmm.
But those are all for me pretty easy, non diva type flowers.
Hmm. A lot of the same things that I'm growing to here. And you were talking about these big flowers, and I was thinking of dahlias when you said that. That it's so nice to have a combination. Sometimes it's great just to have one thing, but I love that combination when you have the big and the small and the spiky and the shrubs that kind of anchor your garden. And yeah, sounds like we garden very similarly.
We do. We do. I think we do, yes.
Now,
Although you can grow lilacs, and I'm still really jealous about that.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you can't. Like the peonies and like the irises, they come for a little while, but they're just irreplaceable. They're just so special and they're just so fragrant and beautiful and drapey and just all those wonderful things. I am so glad we can. I'm so sorry that you can't. But but they don't stay with us that long and we're beating the stems to get them to stay longer in a vase because we just love them so much. But yeah, sorry about that one.
That's all right.
Yeah. So they're special. Now, I want to move from the garden because you've started two companies that do some amazing things. I want to talk about those. You have
Okay.
Restoration Rose and you have Restoration Rose Farm. So first, let's talk about Restoration Rose. And kind of share how this got started, your mission, and then what you do.
Sure. Back when I had my farm and, had, I don't know, 400 and something roses, um, grew them just because I'm crazy. And then a gal who was a floral designer said, hey, let's offer these to floral designers. And so we started doing that. But, you know, when you're growing in the South and, outdoors without chemicals and things, you get a lot of imperfect roses, which are okay for me and some florists, but there were a lot of roses I felt like were going to waste. And I had a good girlfriend known all my life. She was a skincare junkie, and she had very sensitive skin. And we knew that rosehip oil was really good for skin. So we met with an herbalist and we talked to a formulator, and we created a facial serum with rosehip oil as the base. And we infuse rose petals into those oils. Um, I took a course on making soap. We use our rose infused oils and butters in our soap. Um, when you start looking at some of the skincare, not only is it $125 a bottle or whatever, there's a lot of stuff in there that's not necessarily good for you. And we wanted something that worked, but that was really and truly, powered by nature. Rose hips are so high in vitamin C. So that kind of sparked that journey. And she won't use anything else on her face. Neither will her two daughters. They're very particular about what they take a lot better care of their skin than I do. Let's just say. And so, we put it online and we offered it to people and have lots of really happy, dedicated customers, who rarely use it. So that's a good feeling to know that the roses aren't being wasted, that people are benefiting from, all the vitamins and compounds and roses, and also getting that scent as well, which is calming. So that's kind of what Restoration Rose has been about. I wholesale soap to some other small skincare businesses. Enjoy that.
I want to mention on your website, you have a sentence that just speaks to me. I'm going to read it. Restoration Rose petal infused products benefit your skin, give you a sense of well-being, and smell just like the rose garden they were born in.
And that's true. There's so much rose stuff out there, particularly when you get into the synthetic stuff, that is just god awful. It will give you a headache. It does not smell like a garden rose. And I never, people go, ooh, I don't like rose scent. It's like, well, have you ever really smelled a rose, in a garden?
Yeah.
Not like what's on the shelf at Kmart, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it was very, very important to me, really the most important thing, because I think for me, the scent of the roses is really what really drew me in. And we spent so long working with different essential oils and rose essential oil from Bulgaria or from Egypt or from different places. And it took us a long time to get what we felt was the right balance. But, we use that along with rose geranium and a little bit of frankincense and, other essential oils that are good for your skin. And I do think we have the absolute best rose candle I've ever smelled. It really does smell like a rose garden. It's not one scent. Men really like it. So I feel like the effort that went into making sure this was something that was not like anything else and really did smell like roses. I think we hit that one on the head.
And you did. And friends, you can see these products and purchase at restorationrose.com. So
That's
now,
exactly
Susan,
right.
yes, and let's move to the farm.
Yeah.
Restoration Rose Farm. You have some other things that you're providing, and they're equally as special.
Well, I know you know me, Teresa, and I know that you know that I love flowers and everything that grows. And um, I just, when I really first started growing on my own, tulips were my first love. So many varieties, so many shapes, so many colors. I mean, honestly, to me, there's not a more varied bloom than a tulip. And so I started thinking about, rose season's going to wind down here probably late November. I still have some blooms. But what would be good to grow and offer as a cut flower during the winter, and I know that bulbs are pretty easily grown indoors. And so I just kind of started with that, with tulips, the fragrant, fancy daffodils, hyacinth. Um, I do paper whites at Christmas and amaryllis, and have just really come to enjoy indoor growing during the winter because I have reached kind of the age in my life where I don't like the heat. Okay.
Ditto. We might be twins.
Know what I'm saying? And and I've reached the age where, I realized that it was fun while it lasted, kind of wrecking my body while I was growing all this stuff. But I have fallen in enough holes and tripped over enough hoses and, you know, done the intensive farm thing for long enough. So this is something really that is a lot less strenuous on the body. It's indoors, so it's total control, which is rare, or about as total control as you could have over a
Mhm.
growing living thing. But and it brings so much joy because the winters are so yuck here. They're really gray. They're not that cold very often, but we do just have a lot of gray days. And honestly, I mean, this may sound kooky, but for me, I can feel the energy coming off those flowers. Um, they're vibrant, they're growing. I'm in grow lights all day, so I'm not being depleted of vitamin D, from lack of
Mhm.
sunlight. And it's a joyful thing.
Mhm. I'm right now looking at your website for the bulbs. They're exquisite. It is so over the top of what you normally see, like if you visit a big box store, some of the things that are available to us. And it shows that tulips are your favorite. These are the prettiest. These are just over the top tulips. I mean, I have never seen such tulips. These
Well,
these are special. These are really, really special.
that's kind of part of my enabling mission, is that let's take it to the next level, let's well, first of all, I can't compete with big box stores. um really the kind of genesis for me starting to import my own bulbs from Holland was I got so disappointed with the quality of what I got from the big box stores and from online type places. They would come, they would be dried out or covered in disease. And, you buy the pink, fireworks special. And then when it blooms, you get a yellow tulip. And that would just kill me.
It does happen. It does happen. It really,
Yeah,
really does happen.
it does happen. And I feel like it particularly happens when you're buying from these big people because they don't really need your business or want your business. I mean, there's always somebody else is going to come along,
Mhm.
and buy crummy tulips because they're cheap or whatever. But for me, it's been my mission to really develop relationships with people and encourage them to grow and teach them how to grow and provide them with things that, that are like floral exhibitor quality. They're big bulbs and they're healthy. And so they grow a big, healthy flower. And I'm just too old to dig a hole and not get what I want out of it, right?
Mhm.
I'm
There you go.
not doing it
There
anymore.
you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I even have one of those automated little things, those little trowel things
Yes.
yeah, it's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, these really are special. Now, we can all purchase them because you ship nationwide, but you also have a business of doing these bulb gardens for people as well, right?
I do. I love them. They are just such cool things to have and really so easy to grow. Essentially, what I do is compose like what I consider a living flower arrangement. You know, um, a few tulips, some daffodils, hyacinth or two, some muscari, some crocus, things like that, and I layer them in a pot or a big compote or whatever I have laying around, and then I chill them, and then in the springtime, about mid-February, I just bring them indoors and give them some water, put them in a sunny window, and they bloom. So it's kind of like having your own little indoor garden
Mhm.
while it's still cold and yucky outside. And for me, the anticipation, of seeing the shoots come up and then watching them set buds and then having them bloom, they last so much longer than cut flowers.
Mhm.
And people love indoor plants so much these days. It's like, okay, well, let's get some blooming indoor stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, all about the bloom.
Friends, if you follow her on Instagram, you're going to see some of these amazing creations. She's so good at this, and her heart and soul is in this, you can tell. And the quality of these bulbs is just the variety, Susan, really. I mean, this is impressive. This
Hey,
is,
what's your favorite tulip?
well, I'm
Obviously,
looking right here, and
I
I
can't
think
answer.
I think I found one.
What you looking at?
Charming Beauty
Uh,
Annie Tulip.
Charming Beauty is a stunner. And let me tell you, she is so beautiful with anything peach or yellow.
It's
Oh,
gorgeous. It is just gorgeous. Very, very pretty.
and you can see how many there are. I mean, I honestly I can't choose.
Mhm.
I can't. Yeah.
The Verona sunrise, is it as pretty in person as this
Oh
picture?
yes,
It
it's
just looks like a painting. It looks like a Renaissance painting when you put all these together.
that's what I'm going for. When you think about the Dutch
Yeah.
masters and tulip mania, when tulip bulbs were going for as much as a house, and it kind of crashed the the economy. Um, that's kind of the period that I really love all those paintings of tulips, and a lot of these are of the type, that would be seen in those paintings. And then also, like the lily shaped are very different, and the fringed are very different. So there's just so many different types of shapes and colors and combinations. Um, they're just lots of fun.
I found another one we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Formula One.
Ooh, yeah. That one's getting harder to find.
Oh
But
no.
I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram, but those were one of the first varieties that I grew indoors. I wasn't sure how they were going to do. And they actually started blooming in early February, and we got a really heavy snow, which was kind of unusual. And I took them outside and put them in a pot that was full of snow. I think that's somewhere on my Instagram, but they are gorgeous too. I mean, there's not a peachy or apricot tulip on that site that is not really, really special.
Yeah, they are. They're
I
very pretty.
just I just love them.
Now, a little housekeeping here. Didn't you say that Rose Chat listeners get a discount?
They do. I just taught a class over at Cheekwood over the weekend, and I put a code in for my Cheekwood people, and I also put the code in chat CHAT for anybody who's listening and wants to try some of my bulbs. There's an additional 10% off, and they're also on sale right now. I'll probably have the sale on through the end of the month, and then they'll start shipping probably mid to late October. I'm still waiting. I've gotten one shipment from Holland in. I'm still waiting on a couple more.
Well, well done. Well done on this venture. I just love it. You've added so much beauty. And I can tell you, Indiana can teach Tennessee something about winter. It's not only dark, it's cold. Every year, I tell about March, or maybe it's February. I don't know when I get into the deepest funk of it all. But I look out the window and I look at the garden and I tell G, it's not coming back. This year, it's too dead. It's too brown. It's not coming back. He always says, yep, it's coming back.
That's the thing about gardeners. We've got to have hope and faith. And listen, in your little potting area, I'm going to send you some tulips this year. I'm going to chill them for you. I'm going to send them
Oh,
to you, and you can bring them into bloom. What does your potting place? What's that winter temperature like?
I heat it. Our
Okay,
little home shed is heated, so I keep it around 60, 62.
that is the perfect temperature to grow the tulips indoors.
Okay.
Anything under about 68 degrees. And I'm gonna send you some probably in January, and you will just pot those little critters up and give them a little drink, and I think you'll be so happy.
Oh, I'm happy already just thinking about it. Now, Susan, before we let you go, we have to talk about what you do in your spare time. Now, you're a personal coach to gardeners. You give
Mhm,
workshops. You teach classes. You just mentioned that. So tell us
mhm.
about all those things.
Well, essentially, I am your one-stop garden. I don't know what you want to call it. Provider. Um, if you want to learn how to garden, I do teach classes, a lot of classes at Cheekwood. They are our botanical garden here. They're fabulous. They teach a lot of gardening classes. The gardening school at Cheekwood. Um, I have people reach out to me and say, "My rose, something's wrong with it. Can you come help me?" So I'll come and help them with their roses. I will have people reach out and say, I want to have a rose garden, and I'll give them suggestions. Mostly it's just from people reaching out. A lot of times when I'm teaching, somebody will come up after and say, can you help me with this or that problem? And you know how it is with gardeners. I mean,
Mhm.
getting to know gardeners for me, is so much fun because we have so much in common, and a lot of people don't understand how much these plants mean to us. My family thinks I am off the rails with the roses and the tulips. And so, to get validation from other people who enjoy it too or who want to get started, that brings me a lot of happiness.
Oh, there's a common thread for gardeners for sure. And you
Hmm.
can tell, don't you just love when you meet that young person and you see that look on their face and you
Oh,
know that look, that feeling in your heart is the look on their face.
yes.
And
And,
you know that you,
Teresa, we've got to reach the young people,
yeah.
because as we rose people get older, we need people out there carrying the torch. And I
Mhm,
know a lot of young people don't have big yards these days or don't want to fool with that, but there's so much that can be done with pots.
mhm.
Just a few pots on your balcony, even. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
The
Um,
rose world is such a rich world with history and stories and art and painting and wars and all sorts of things. A few weeks ago at our Rose Society meeting, we told stories of the stories behind the roses. That alone, it just draws you in. There's just so many fascinating stories behind
oh, listen.
roses and so many history lessons to be had. And just fascinating, look no farther than Empress Josephine at
Oh,
Malinsville. There's just story after story after story there.
I'm with you for that too. I really am. Give me a Madame this or a Duchess that, and
Yes.
I'm all about finding out more about that person.
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, they're just, it's a rich, rich, well, hobby lifestyle. I think gardening is kind of a lifestyle. We live a kind
Mhm,
of an inside
mhm.
outside life. So it's very special. And I have found not only so many beautiful plants, but so many beautiful people. So it's been very good to me.
I agree with you completely. It is a therapeutic pastime.
Hmm.
Um, I used to say it was cheaper than therapy, but now I really don't know. Um,
There you
but
go.
I'm happy to, nurture and grow and find my little slice of peace and contentment. And, it's meditative. It's all those things.
Yeah, it is. Now, people can find you on Instagram and Facebook. You're very active there. Are there other ways that they can find you?
Well, on either of my websites, Restoration Rose or Restoration Rose Farm, I have an email sign up. I send out newsletters sometimes, notices of sales. They can always just, email me, Susan at restorationrose.com. I love hearing from people and, what they're growing or if they have a challenge or, really and truly, I do love enabling growers.
Helping, Susan, helping.
Yes, helping that too, and just seeing their face light up. When you bring a bucket of tulips into a flower shop and you just see the joy it brings, and you can do that yourself at home.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that you do.
Well, I'm fortunate to be able to do it. I truly am, and grateful for the ability to still be able to do it.
Well done, you. Susan, what fun today has been. I'm just always amazed at all that you do and all that you do so beautifully. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Listen, Teresa, thank you for all the wonderful, wonderful people you seek out and interview on Rose Chat. I love it. It's a wonderful podcast, and people will reach out to me and say, "I heard you on Rose Chat." So
Tell them
keep
just
on
to,
keeping on.
yes, tell them just to share, share, share. We love to get the word out there. The rose world is full with amazing people doing amazing things.
I agree. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Susan, my pleasure. Well, friends, it's so nice to have you here with us today and to hear Susan's story. Isn't she phenomenal? And when you have a minute, do pop over to restorationrosefarm.com. You'll be inspired, and restorationrose.com for those wonderful rose scents. And until next time, happy gardening.
You've been listening to the Rose Chat Podcast with Chris VanCleave and Teresa Byington, expert rose gardeners who want to help you achieve the rose garden of your dreams. Don't miss an episode. Listen anytime on our website at rosechatpodcast.com or listen on the go via the Rose Chat app on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Share this podcast with your social networks and join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by using the hashtag RoseChat. Join us next time for another edition of the Rose Chat Podcast. The Rose Chat Podcast is a production of the Rose Chat Media Group, Birmingham, Alabama.